Hello guys, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. What's going on? My name is Negacious. In the last episode, we had Hanako's birthday party again, but with a little of a different script. We stayed overnight at Lily's place, and woke up in the morning with a headache, and butted heads with Lily, quite literally. And Lily gave us a good day's kiss to have a nice day. So we are in probably class, since I can hear Misha going, "Hichan, go away. Hichan, leave me alone. Come on, Hichan. Let me sleep." After 2 nights of not being able to sleep at all, the last thing I want is to be woken when I finally manage to. Oh god. It may be the last period of class, with a textbook as my pillow, but I'll take whatever sleep I can get by this point. "See, Hichan, even Shichan wants you to get up." "I don't care what Shizune wants, leave me alone." "Jeez, Hichan, I'll just have to wake." Wait, Misha's going to... You? This is bad. You don't have to... I can feel my face flowering into a scarlet red blush. The students still in class are sitting bolt upright and staring at the shouting fool who was sleeping just moments before. Damn it. I let my head smack back down on the table with a noticeable thud. Misha's trademark uncontrolled laughter reverberates through the classroom. As I turn my mournful eyes to the bespectacled Shizune beside her, she carefully adjusts her glasses, desperately trying to maintain a look of serious disapproval. And she's smiling, come on. Narrowing my eyes, I can see the badly hidden grin spreading across her face. "Etu, Shizune?" Shizune looks away quickly as she crosses her arms tightly, barely on the edge of her control. Misha's laughter doubles in volume as she glances at Shizune. All I can do is drag my hand down my face in resignation. Just like... You two. "Who was the one who slept in class, Hichan?" Yeah, it was me. "Poor Shichan was having a fit trying to wake you up, weren't you?" I move my eyes back to the standoffish Shizune, who with a single huff of confirmation returns to looking away with her arms crossed. Why was Shizune trying to wake me up? "Shichan wanted to give you the handouts the substitute teacher gave out while Hichan was sleeping." Handouts? I suddenly find 2 sheets of paper thrust down in front of my face. Following the hand holding them, I see the still pouting figure looking down at me with a distinct scowl. I guess I really am in the wrong here. Sorry about that. No dice. Her irritated face still holds. I clasp my hands together and flick my head downwards in apology. Very, very sorry. She huffs and simply drops the papers on the desk. Damn. I look up over my hands to see Shizune and Misha signing frantically to each other, a look of frustration on Shizune's face. It looks to be less of a dialogue and more of a tirade, punctuated with sidelong glances at me. To say it's unsettling is an understatement. The 2 suddenly stop signing and look at me in unison, both having exactly the same look of disapproval. In one fluid motion, Misha's hand suddenly extends high above me and comes rocketing down. Before I can even hope to react, my head is sent bouncing up and down like a jack-in-a-box. I quickly bring my hands to my head, more out of reflex than actual pain. Ow! What was that for? This goddamn duo, man. Seriously. I open my eyes to see the two grinning at each other while exchanging an enthusiastic thumbs up.
Shi-chan says she forgives you now, Hichan.
Could you forgive me with a little less force next time? Also, I read up on the wiki after Shizune's route how tall are like Misha and Shizune. And they're supposed to be the same height, but in this picture it doesn't look like they're the same height. Misha looks like she's like 5 centimeters taller. Or then it's just the hair, I don't know. I look at the two with a blank face. Misha and Shizune 1, Hisao nil.
Oh, Shi-chan also says that you should check your student mail more often.
And there's the oh so familiar letter from Iwanako. She produces a bright yellow envelope and hands it over with an exuberant grin. Strange. Who would have written me a letter? Now is not the time and most definitely not the place to find out though. Giving up on the nap so cruelly stolen from me, I rub my forehead and slowly get up, putting the sheets and envelope in my bag before swinging it over my shoulder. I take a step back and move to depart with a small bow, while Misha clutches her sides laughing and Shizune nods back in a curt farewell. I join the flow of students exiting the open door and turn the corner into the hallway. Oh, Hanako. Only to end up face to face with Hanako. Whoa! Hey Hanako.
Good afternoon, Hisao.
Silence falls between us as busily chatting students pass us by. She's fidgeting constantly, her eyes drawn to her rather unremarkable footwear. I take at the bridge of my nose with in my fingers while I blink my eyes heavily in an attempt to make things seem clearer. I'm barely staying awake as it is. Hanako, you want to say something. What is it?
I wanted to give you this.
She holds out a small rectangular piece of paper. I blink again to make out the text through barely open eyes, slowly starting to make out what's written. Eggs times 2, bread loaf times 1, whole grain cereal times 1, and thyme times 1. A shopping list? I look upwards, raising an eyebrow.
I usually go shopping with Lily, but I can't come, so...
You want me to run errands for you?
It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought that maybe,
She's panicking. I sigh. Yet another battle lost, though this time by a weakly fought surrender. I smile tiredly and rest a hand on her head to calm her down. It's fine. I was going to go anyway. Just the stuff on this list? That was Hisao, by the way, not me. She nods then bows deeply, twice, as if to make her gratitude perfectly clear.
We were going to meet outside the school gates at 6. Thank you. I was going to get it, but I need to study for the test tomorrow.
Test? Ah, that's right, science. How are you doing with it? She brightens up ever so slightly.
I've been spending more time on it than before. I think I can do okay.
Good work then. She too starts smiling, and much more earnestly than I at that. I have full confidence that I can do fine in it without any extra studying, but the fact that she's putting in the effort instead of just reading in the library is heartening. I'll grab your stuff and take it to your dorm in the evening. See ya. With a small wave, we part ways. I'll go do my homework before meeting Lily. I should be able to take care of it in time. Wrangling with a particularly complicated math problem has caused me to be a little bit late for my meeting with Lily. Only a couple of minutes, but enough to make me smartly out into the courtyard and to the school gate. I make a right turn and start my way towards the small town below, leaving a few students turning the other way to the bus station. I slip my right hand into my pocket as I walk into the orange sunlight of dusk. Thankfully the sweltering summer's heat started to die down, making way for the pleasant cool breeze. There she is. When I stretch my hands high above my head, a familiar figure takes form, cane in her right hand. Ah, Lily. She stops and turns around, swiveling her head slightly to try and work out exactly where the voice came from. Hey, it's me. I quickly catch up to her, coming in beside her and matching her slow pace as we resume walking.
Good afternoon, Hisao.
Hi there. Oh, this screen. This was on Rin's route for the first time, I believe, on my Let's Play. That looks gorgeous, dude. I glance up at the sky. A distinct tinge of orange discolors the clouds, washing the footpath in its light. Long shadows from the trees fall across the wide road down the hill.
So, Hisao, what brings you here?
Just going to go to town to grab some groceries. Hanako sent me.
Hanako sent you?
Yeah, she said she needed to study for a test tomorrow. I was going to come down anyway, so I'll just buy her stuff as well. Unspoken is that Lily could really use some help to get food, but it's an obvious fact that neither of us need to state.
It's good to hear she's studying for it.
I thought the same thing when she asked me to come with you. We continue walking down the street, the familiar sound of her cane echoing through the air as we go. Except for the occasional passing car and the leaves whispering in the branches, there's a blissful silence. Thank God I can finally relax for the first time today. I glance over at Lily. That porcelain face of hers never seems to lack that air of relaxed confidence. I guess the same could be said of her personality too. As she silently walks, her face remaining pointed to the street ahead of her, I look ahead and savor the cool air blowing over my face. This is probably the calmest moment I've had since my about face my life took so recently. To have it while walking to get some groceries. What a weird life. I feel the crumpled up note rubbing against my hand in my pocket and pull it out just to check its contents. Let's see here. Eggs, bread, cereal, thyme, lettuce, shaved ham. That sounds quite a bit to carry back along on your own. Yeah, just how much does this girl eat anyway? My mind suddenly clicks that yes, there actually is a person beside me. Wait, I mean... She laughs wholeheartedly. Oh, Hisao, you don't comment on a woman's weight. You don't. My, Hisao. Her giggles punctuate her words, though she's making little effort to suppress them. Quite direct today, aren't we? Yeah, you got me there. Still, it is quite a bit. Usually I go shopping with Hanako, so I know what she buys. It's the same thing every week. Huh. She a good cook? She gives a nervous giggle. It's usually me who ends up cooking. I used to do so for Akira, so it's no problem doing it for Hanako as well. You can cook, but... A short hum with an amused lilt emanates from beside me. I wonder if the fact that she seems amused by my comments so often is actually genuine, or rather just from a want to make me more comfortable in addressing her blindness. There are ways around it. Some meals are more difficult to cook than others, because of being unable to see what I'm doing. But it usually only takes a little more time. Fingers can double as very useful measurement tools, for an example. It makes sense, but she'd have to be pretty careful not to hurt herself. I wonder how many times that's happened, given that it sounds like she cooked alone for possibly years, while Akira worked and her parents were gone. With that, the conversation trails off. Compared to the awkward silences of Hanako, Lily seems genuinely content to say what she thinks and stay quiet when there's nothing to say. The sleek road under my feet is bathed in an orange glow, the occasional fallen leaf crunching underfoot as we walk. I let out a deep yawn, my lack of sleep coming back to haunt me. Did you not get much sleep last night? I couldn't sleep at all for the past 2 nights. Probably insomnia. Lily's face suddenly becomes worried. It feels like a personal failure every time she gets worried about my well-being, even if it's genuinely nice to know someone cares. You have insomnia? Aren't you going to see the nurse about it? Nah, no real need. It's happened to me before a few times. My meds screw with my sleeping occasionally. Ah, I'm sorry. Come on, it's not your fault. At least I shouldn't have any trouble getting to sleep tonight. You do worry me sometimes. I worry you? I reach around and scratch the back of my neck. I kind of want to address this. Hey, Lily. I don't mean to sound weird, but please try to forget about my heart condition. She looks kind of lost. I hardly blame her. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, just don't treat me differently because of it. She bows her head slightly, her white cheeks reddening almost imperceptibly. It's only natural to worry about those around you. Well, it's nice to know that there's someone like that out there. It may be somewhat embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. Lily takes a breath to regain her composure and manages a gentle smile, though her cheeks remain flushed. The final downhill walk to the store passes in silence.
Welcome!
What the fuck kind of voice was that? Just some old witch just saying like,
Welcome, my children!
I suppose I'll get my stuff first and Hanako's on the second round. I grab 2 well-worn red baskets from the stack beside the entrance and pass one to Lily. Just as she did before, she lays it on the ground and slides her retracted cane between the basket's handles before picking it up with her right hand. When she takes hold of my arm in her own, I'm surprised at just how fast this kind of casual contact becomes so natural, mostly due to necessity, no doubt. Shall we? Sure. While we navigate around the store, and the odd person occasionally passing us pays us no heed at all, it's nice compared to the stares and whispers around the city. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily what she needs and grab it along with what I want, putting our items into their respective baskets. It's an odd feeling to be depended so much for something that's so basic as shopping. I completely butchered that sentence. Hanako would be practically a necessity for her to pick out what she wants after all. Right, I'm pretty much done with both my stuff and Hanako's. You needing anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. Oddly, there's a queue a mile long. Considering the store's only large enough to warrant one counter, seems like it'll take a while. Damn. Lily gives an inquisitive look, unable to see the reason for my complaint. The queue's really long, looks like we'll have to wait. How strange. Sharing the same mood of resignation, we reluctantly take our place at the end of the line. One person finishes, the line moves up. Another person finishes, the line moves up. By the time we finally reach the head of the line, I'm so close to dozing off that Lily has to gently pat me on the back for me to move up. Hisao? Hisao? Sorry. She gives a short sigh of consternation. Is that supposed to be concentration or consternation? Consternation. Huh. She gives a short sigh of consternation as I move up, getting the groceries for Hanako and me put into separate bags.
Thank you. Please come again.
By the time we emerge from the store, Lily's holding a single bag while I struggle to carry 4, both hands well and truly full. It's a lot of work, but thankfully the items in them are light. Even without looking skyward, it's obvious that a surprising amount of time has passed, the road outside being dark and lit by street lamps. Once Lily retrieves her cane, we set out back to our dormitories the way we came, leaving the welcoming warm glow of the store. Despite the road being empty of cars, the full bags abundantly make up for the lack of noise, constantly clunking and squeaking together. My, Hisao, it's good to find that you're eating well. I'm a growing guy after all. I need to eat all I can. It must be nice being a man. What? Seemingly not noticing or ignoring my surprise at the completely out of left field comment, she continues on without missing a beat. Weight doesn't really bother you when eating most of the time. I get what you mean. Women tend to worry about stuff like that more than we do, I guess. Exactly. It makes me somewhat envious, to be honest. Well, it's not like we can outright ignore it. With an affirmative nod, we continue on our walk. Huh, that's right. What is it? Hanako mentioned your birthday was earlier this year. Did you do anything special for it? She gives a long pause, lost in thought for a few seconds as she recalls the event. Not really. It was just Hanako and me having a little party during the night after school. Your birthday's supposed to be a big event, you know? Sounds like a pretty lonely way to spend a birthday, just her and Hanako staying overnight. Birthdays always felt like a family occasion for me. They were a time when, in spite of their full-time jobs, both my parents would make an effort to be there for the day, or at least for a party beforehand. It reminds me how Lily mentioned she hadn't seen her family in such a long time, and even ended up moving away from Akira's house afterwards. But I guess it's the same in situations as mundane as these. Considering her inability to read the packaging, just getting groceries would be a pain without somebody else around. In the end, she just has Hanako and me, and Akira when she's off from work. Be it as it may, she still seems to have many more distant friends among the students, not to mention people like Yuko. It seems to be her own choice that there's such a separation between those two, those who are close to her and those who she only socializes with. It humbles me a little to see how much Lily seems to have her life set up and going just as she wants. Yet Hanako is there for her to celebrate her birthday, and I'm here helping her with shopping. It's a weird kind of symbiosis, I suppose. Are you alright, Hisao? Sorry? You just seem to go very quiet, that's all. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Oh. Now I've piqued her curiosity. It feels kind of overly personal to talk about it, though. I'm gonna tell the truth, because I have a feeling, fuck. And the moment I said I'm gonna tell the truth, I start doubting myself. Because to Lily, like, oh my fucking god, I'm already having trouble, like, deciding. Because it seems to Lily that her, like, facade of, like, her, the way she can hide her emotions is very efficient. And I'm thinking that like, if we tell the truth, I have a feeling that it might trigger a switch, because Lily, for Lily, her family is like the one point she does not want to talk about, because she hasn't like met them in so long, and probably has still some invisible scars about being separated from them, and from Akira partially as well. So I have a feeling that we might just want to use a little bit of steel gloves here and avoid the subject. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll also save here. So we are going to avoid the subject. I was just thinking about some of the stuff that's happened, don't worry. She leans in even closer, forcing me to move sideways. Come on, don't you ever do that as well? You make it sound as if you're hiding something. Why must this girl be so perceptive? Glancing back at her face though, she wears a cute, playful smile. She's playing with me? Even so, I'd rather not pursue this with her. I told you, it's nothing. Lily furrows her brow in disapproval. Oh, come on, for fuck's... I want to get one fucking choice correct on the first go during these routes. Seriously. Is that so? Yes, it is. You're a very bad liar, Hisao. That's true, but that's why I'm not lying. I'm a very trustworthy person. I'm sure you are. I think I can forgive you just this once, though. Forgive? For what exactly? She giggles a little before resuming her quiet walking. Just what is she thinking now? Come on, what's there... for fuck... I'm so fucking bad at this freaking game. Okay. I look up to the dark sky as I slump my shoulders. I think this is something I have to sort out for myself, rather than relying on her for everything. Eventually we get to the girls' dormitories, both my arms aching from the weight of the 2 sets of groceries. We're finally here. I bend down to wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lily stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around in her pocket for the key. Thank you, Hisao. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. It might be nothing to you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through her door, closing it behind her. I blink. Those were nothing but honest thanks, but I can't help feeling something different about them. Anyway, I have something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. I turn back to the door to Hanako's room and proceed to knock twice in quick succession, the bag still in my hands, rustling together. After a couple of seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hadn't moved at all. I twist my head to the side and try to peer through the tiny sliver of a gap between the door and the door frame. Hey, Hanako, I've got your stuff. With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder. Sparsely decorated, it's probably even more unremarkable than my room. I hold out my right arm, both bags almost pulling it straight back down with their weight.
Thank you, Hisao. I'm sorry to make you carry them all this way.
It's fine, don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I pass the bags to her as I give a light-hearted chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she manages to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako.
Good night. See you in class tomorrow.
With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag into my other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's light-hearted smile out of my mind. When I'd first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Indeed, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks since I first got to know her, both her and Hanako. The time that I spent with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, those small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just the normal feelings of friendship. Indeed. Once I return to my room, I store away my groceries and begin getting ready for the night. Ah, yes, the letter. I swapped the school books in my bag for those I'll need tomorrow, pulling out the yellow envelope Misha gave me earlier in the process. I got so sidetracked by one thing after another that I couldn't deal with it earlier. Who could have written me, I wonder, for the 5th time in the game? The name neatly adorning the back of the envelope freezes me in my tracks. It's been so long since I've seen her writing, there's little chance I could have identified it as hers otherwise. Iwanako. Why should she have written me? I don't think of any good reason for her to do this. I almost don't open the letter, but there'd be a little point to that. If I just left it alone, its mere existence would gnaw at me until I did something about it. Should we continue? I don't know. We're gonna continue and read the letter. We're gonna finish this segment. I look down at the piece of paper on my desk, its bright and summery decoration beaming happily at me. The lettering is in pink, jarring badly with the yellow sunflower border on the card. The handwriting is neat, the characters having been written thoughtfully and with an unusual amount of care. Also, I'm really curious about how Iwanako is going to write, what she's going to write to us, because it's been slightly different each time, and like her letter kind of gives a premise on the logic that Hisao is feeling. If you get my drift, so I'm actually curious on how this letter is going to come into play this time. I'd barely given the letter a second thought when it was given to me, but now I can't get its contents out of my mind. While I'd like to say that I don't know why she used such an old-fashioned method of communication, considering a phone call or an email would be both much faster and easier, the answer feels obvious enough given the content. A letter leaves a comfortable distance between the sender and the recipient. Unlike a phone, it isn't required that you engage in conversation, and unlike email, there's less expectation of an immediate reply. Statements such as the third year seem to be very anxious about the final exams, and it's so weird to think we are already seniors, isn't it, are just small talk. Small talk that could be achieved by simply replying to any of the messages I'd sent her while in the hospital. The ending, though, is the true reason she sent this. The last couple of lines, added almost as an afterthought. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. It's a statement that should hurt. I've always heard breakups are nasty stuff, but it feels like this is simply a reaffirmation of what we both already knew existed. So we don't even get to see the letter this time. Interesting. It's the preceding text, no more than small talk, that makes me feel most uneasy. I can't figure out why, no matter how long I sit here and look down at this bright and summery piece of paper. If you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. It's plainly obvious that this is not the type of letter to be replied to. In the end, this letter is no more than a simple abdication of responsibility, a final statement to reassure herself that our relationship is over. As such, I find I have little problem in scrunching the letter and envelope into a ball and tossing it into the waste bin, ridding myself of its existence. I go to bed with mixed feelings, cheated out of a pleasant evening by this intruder from the past. Ironically, it takes a while before I can manage to sleep. So we didn't even get to see the letter. Huh. That's kinda interesting, actually. because in all like other 4 routes we saw the actual content of the letter. So I don't know. Anyways, next time we are going to sweat profusely, as it says on the screen. What the fuck? Okay, we're going to end this episode here. My name was Negacious, and this was Katawa Shoujo. If you did enjoy this episode and want to show your appreciation, make sure to click the like button or the dislike button if you didn't. You can also drop a comment down below, whether it's casual banter or some constructive criticism. I'll read it all and reply to it all. You may also subscribe and click the bell button next to the subscribe button to make doubly sure that you get my videos into your sub box the moment they come online. My name... Jesus, this is the worst intro ever. My name was Negacious, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.